Good Tuesday afternoon, Southern California. Hopefully your week is off to a great start so far. We have a lot to talk about, and it all pertains to the extreme heat that's on the way. So let's begin by looking at the bigger picture here. The ridge of high pressure, which has been responsible for our heat the past couple of weeks, has actually shifted to the east here the past couple of days. So because of that, temperatures locally are a little bit cooler. That ridge bringing extreme heat to parts of Colorado, New Mexico, and into the plains. As we head into the next couple of days, though, that ridge is on the move. That heat dome will move closer to Southern California, and by this weekend, it is almost directly overhead. So obviously, we have a whole new round of heat alerts to talk about issued by the National Weather Service. We'll start in Imperial County, where an extreme heat warning is now in effect, and it stays with us until 8 p.m. on Sunday. In the San Diego County mountains and deserts, extreme heat warning there starts at 10 a.m. on Thursday, goes through Sunday evening as well. And this time, our valleys also included in the extreme heat warning that starts on Friday and goes through this weekend. By the way, look at the orange. Our San Diego County coastlines also going to be under a heat advisory. That starts at 10 a.m. on Friday and goes until Sunday evening as well. So you'll notice some different start times here with our heat alerts. The one thing I want you to keep in mind is the further we go into this week, the hotter it's going to get. Probably the best way to summarize it. And today is not cool by any stretch of the imagination. Triple-digit heat out in Imperial County, 105 right now in Ocotillo, 109 in Brawley. El Centro is toasty at 108. Mid to upper 80s in the mountains, 86 degrees in Escondido. Temecula is at 91. The cooler spot, of course, is going to be along the coastline, where temperatures this afternoon are in the 70s. Here's your forecast for tonight. If you're stepping out for dinner, should be a pleasant evening along the coast. A marine layer will roll back on shore a little bit later tonight. We're down to about 66 for a low temperature. Mid-60s for the valleys, mostly clear in the mountains and in the deserts, and in Imperial County, 83 for a low. One thing I want you to keep in mind out there, it could turn a little breezy tonight. Reason why, there are some thunderstorms across western Arizona. Not expecting them to reach Imperial County, but the outflow winds could kick up some gusts up to about 20 to 25 miles per hour. The bigger story, obviously, is going to be the heat. So let's get into futurecasts and time some of this out, starting with tomorrow afternoon. This is about 24 hours from now. We've jumped up 5 to 6 degrees in Imperial County, 115s across the board, 111 in Borrego Springs, mid to upper 80s for the mountains, upper 70s to low 80s along the coast. So we're starting to warm up there as well. Heading into Thursday morning, you'll notice the marine layer is there. It'll extend up to about the 15 or so. Over the next few days, there will be an inversion with the marine layer, and so what that will do is keep it pretty shallow, close to the ground. That could also allow for some patchy, dense fog to form here during the next few mornings. The marine layer will burn off by the afternoon, and everybody is warm once again. So here's Thursday afternoon, 117 in Brawley, 116 in El Centro, not feeling good at all, 113 in Salton City as well as Borrego Springs. Our mountains could be getting close to 90 in Pine Valley, 87 in La Mesa. Friday morning is going to start very toasty, and then heading into Friday afternoon, it's dangerous, it's brutal, and it is really uncomfortable. 120 in Brawley, same with El Centro, 117 in Salton City. We're flirting with records here. Mid-90s in the mountains, mid-90s possibly for some of our valley locations. Even San Diego is going to be getting into the 80s. Friday night, about 9 o'clock or so after the sun has set, look at this. Triple-digit heat still from Salton City south to Brawley and El Centro. Borrego Springs, too, at 100 degrees, 80 for Escondido. So your Friday night plans are going to be quite warm. You'll want to dress accordingly. And as I mentioned a moment ago, we could be flirting with some records in Imperial County. Here's a record we don't want to get close to. This is the all-time record high in Imperial County. It was set in the city of Imperial, 124 degrees. We reached it twice. Once on August 16th, 1903, and then a second time, July 6th, 1905. So I don't know that we're going to touch this all-time record of 124, but we're definitely going to be just a few degrees. So we'll watch how that plays out, but it kind of gives you a perspective as to just how intense this heat's going to be. And if you're somebody who's planning on heading out to the coast to escape the heat and get in the water, you might want to think twice unless you're an experienced swimmer or surfer, because we also have a high surf advisory and coastal flood advisory through Saturday. For the high surf advisory, we're talking about waves 5 to 8 feet. some sets to 9 feet for our south to southwest facing beaches. Think Coronado. Also along our west facing beaches, big waves there too. Waves 3 to 6 feet. And the other thing we have going on is that coastal flood advisory. It's a combination of what's happening out in the tropics, Hurricane Genevieve sending those bigger swells, and then also a full moon. So there's an astronomical component to this that could bring some flooding to our coastal areas, flooded lots and parks, some beach erosion, not out of the question. So kind of a rough go along the beaches, but it's going to be the one place that maybe won't be quite as hot, because as we look at your extended forecast for the deserts in Imperial County, you're either going to want to flock all the way to the beach, get in the pool, or stay in the AC. 114 on Wednesday. That's just a start. 118 by Friday, 120 by Saturday. We're close to it by Sunday. A very small cool down Monday into Tuesday as we go 114 for us on Tuesday. In the mountains, we're into the 90s by Thursday, 96 Friday. Saturday is our best shot of touching 100 degrees. Mid-90s continue on Sunday. And then that little cool down on Monday and Tuesday. Overnight lows upper 60s to right around 70 degrees. In the valleys, you two have the extreme heat warning starting on Friday. 96 on Saturday. Mid-90s for Sunday. We're back in the upper 80s for Monday and Tuesday, but not feeling a whole lot better because it's going to be humid too. And finally, along the coastline, the one place not under the extreme heat warning, we're in the 80s here this week. The heat advisory starts on Friday. 85 for Saturday, 83 Sunday. You'll notice we start the day off possibly with some patchy dense fog because of the marine layer inversion. Sunshine by the afternoon, 80 on Monday, and we're finally back into the upper 70s by Tuesday. Stay cool out there.